What is going on, everybody? Week 3 of the National Football League. I don't know if it's just me, Jake, but how the hell is it week 3 already? Like, I feel like all the hype. I know it's only week 3. We're not even at the quarter mark yet. I feel like time is flying. But Jake, welcome. What's going on? Welcome to week 3, brother.
Eric, I know it's going too fast. It's like every football season. You feel like it takes forever to get there, and then you're so excited for it to start. Before you know it, it's like Thanksgiving, and it's about playoff time. So let's really take the time to soak up these weeks here, because snap of the fingers, it's going to unfortunately be basketball season again, and we're going to be pretty upset when February is over.
Listen, man, we have a lot of fun time. We have a lot of fun games also on the horizon this week. Fun luck Survivor. I only have one bet locked in for this week, but of course, we'll be using the amazing outlier.bet to see what we can find on the slate for today. Give me 1 second, as always, boys, to get the promo out. Jake, if you want to give a retweet for the boys also, that'd be absolutely amazing. Everybody in chat too, reposts of stream in chat are also very much appreciated. Love to get more people into the conversation. And again, chat's always open on YouTube, Twitch, as well as X. So if you have any questions about a specific team, game, matchup, player, etc., Jake and I, of course, will try to find. We'll stop and get in and talk about everything. So, like we did last week on Wednesday, and like I kind of have outlined the Wednesday show, we're going to talk about stuff that we played so far. We're also going to take an early look at some props and lock some stuff in. But of course, not like full transparency, of course, always full transparency, but full stop. Only have one bet this week, and then tomorrow we'll be talking Thursday Night Football. Friday, lock in more bets. Then, of course, Sunday, as we've been doing, just finalizing the slate and locking everything in. Monday stream, what a stream for the boys. We hit a plus 390 on Justin Herbert, 30-plus rushing yards boosted, a plus 320, Quentin Johnson touchdown boosted, and a 15-1 Keenan Allen first touchdown, along with two straight bets, the only two straight bets we played for Monday night. So back-to-back primetime killers. That was awesome. So let's kind of build on that momentum. We have a stream today, a stream tomorrow, a stream Friday, and a stream Sunday. We're talking ball. But enough rambling from me, Jake. Let's get into the games again. I have my numbers ran for every game. I haven't adjusted fully for injuries and situations because that happens throughout the course of the week. Of course, injuries will be seeing who's in, who's out as reports continue. A lot of stuff has happened, but last minute end of week stuff is always big. Jake, your Miami Dolphins are on Thursday Night Football, and they're 12.5-point underdogs. I'm not here to say I told you so, because in the summer I was talking about how Miami could stink, and through 2 weeks. Long season. So far, early return, it's not looking so great. Bills laying 12.5 at home. Look at the market here. Total 49.5. It's a big injuries for Buffalo. We can go into outlier. They have all this information here. We saw Ed Oliver was ruled out already, as well as Matt Milano, two very, very big pieces to this Buffalo defense. And Miami, despite how bad that they are, they still have Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, and Tyreek Hill, who we know can still make plays. Jake, is 12.5 points too many points in this one?
Too many points. I mean, obviously, I'm going to say yes. It might be a little biased. We also see a total that's under 50. So it's not like they're expecting fireworks here. And usually when that's the case, the team getting a lot of points is sometimes the better option to go with. I actually do kind of like a prop here that I have been looking at the last couple of days, and the Ed Oliver and Matt Milano news feeds right into it. Should I spill the beans here, Eric? I didn't lock it in yet because I want to see if it's gonna what it's gonna do in the next couple of hours, but I'll probably lock it in before the end of today.
Talk to me. What are we looking at?
I do like Devon Achane over 55.5 rushing yards. If you look back to when this Miami Dolphins team was the most successful, it was 2 years ago when they were able to run the ball. I also think that obviously we saw Derrick Henry run the ball all over this Bills defense. Now that's, not really comparing apples to apples, but we do know that the Dolphins have been capable in the past years running with Devon Achane behind this line with pretty much most of these same pieces. I mean, you could say Armstead is gone, but did he really even play most of those games anyway? He didn't. He was hurt like every other game. And now they're missing key run defenders. I think that if there is going to be room to open up the pass, which clearly the Dolphins want to do, they have to establish something on the ground. And I think it's a sneaky good spot for the Dolphins to do that against this Bills defense. I'm not going to take anything away from the Bills offense, but you definitely want to keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hands. Everybody knows that. Running the ball, burning some clock, long drives, that will help that cause. And 55.5 is not a huge number. Clearly, they want to get Achane the ball, whether it's through the air, which wouldn't help this bet, but they want to get him touches. The best way to do that is to hand the ball off and find some success on the ground. That's going to open up things for Waddle and Hill in the pass game. It's going to make Tua be able to go through his progressions quicker, just knowing that they have to respect the run. And that's why I think he's been getting eaten up these last 2 weeks is they're playing the pass. They know that the Dolphins haven't been successful running the ball. And that's why those quick passes that he's able to, in the past couple of years, he was able to just know where his players were going to be and where the defense was going to be. Now they're dropping back into zones, and he's throwing like some of these passes he's throwing are right to defenders, like right to D linemen that are dropping in protection. And like, you can't do that. You're dropping a D line in protection because you have no faith that the Dolphins could run the ball. So I think they're going to try to establish that in a primetime game. I like 55.5 too. I mean, if it goes over 60, I'm probably not going to touch it, but if it stays there or goes any lower, I'm definitely going to put a unit on it.
Absolutely. Because I had to pivot to looking at rushing receiving just out of curiosity. We know what they're doing from a target share standpoint, but the baselines here at FanDuel and DK are 100, 99.5. Did see a 95.5 over at Hard Rock. We know that they're, Florida's book, so maybe they're giving a little bit of a bonus there.
Something.
But look at this target share. Devon Achane, number 1 in target share, which is ridiculous for a running back. Tua is just absolutely feeding him out of the backfield. And then rush attempts, Devon Achane, 66.7%. They don't even want to pretend to give it to the rookie, Ollie Gordon. They've run more, trick play. Not necessarily trick plays, but more like jet sweep type of action for Malik Washington. I would have a heavy debate for you. My only issue is if the Bills are able to replicate the same kind of game plan they used against the Jets. Now, of course, Tua and Justin Fields are not comparable quarterbacks, but Tua's been bad this year. So kind of giving him in that same situation where you force them to throw the football and try to keep things off the ground, because we know that Josh Allen's not going to be stopped. This total is, and this is interesting to me as well. I was looking at this quickly. I'm just going to go to the game lines. The total, of course, 49.5. So high in the National Football League. It's clearly expecting points to be scored, but Miami Dolphins team total right now, you can get a good price on as low as 17.5. So that is expecting clearly a very lopsided Bills victory, as the market is at 12.5. This number of all things that I've looked at so far is actually the most interesting thing to me so far from a game line perspective. And I think that part of the reason why this kind of correlates to what you're saying is like Achane, they're going to feed him, whether it be on the ground or in the air. But like 17.5 points, I know this offense has struggled, and the Patriots defense isn't good. The Bills defense wasn't good to end last year. It isn't good. Like, I know that they, kind of shut down the Jets, but like the Jets 32-point week 1 is obviously looking more and more like an anomaly than like actually how their team is assembled. Haven't bet anything yet, but I do want to take a look at the EV tabs here. This is some props. I have saved EV filters. Let's look at some game lines, because if that is actually showing some value to the rest of the market, I'm going to be inclined here. We have the best price at Novik for this under. I'll do a quick scroll, Jake, but from an overall perspective, like if it's not going to be Achane moving the football, like that's the only solution that they've had so far. Like, are we finally going to see a Reek game? Or are we finally going to see, Wild played well last week, but like.
Well, Tyreek didn't play that bad either. He got his. I think we're sleeping on the fact that Tua still threw for like 330 and 2 touchdowns. Now, he could have easily thrown for like 450 and probably 4 touchdowns. That's the thing, is he was like overthrowing the ball. His interception that like should have been a clear completion to Tyreek right over the middle, 25 yards downfield, is a whole nother animal. But I also want to go back really quick, because you were talking about the Jets, right? Like, what is that offense, what it is? But then you go and look at what they did that against the Steelers, who also just gave up 31 points to the Seahawks, right? So it's like, we thought after week 1, the Jets offense is, some like maybe it's a whole new Jets team. They're going to be able to score. Justin Fields and Wilson are reunited and they have that chemistry. But like then he gets hurt, and on top of that, the Pittsburgh defense, now they got some guys, but do they have these guys is there chemistry there? Like who knows? I don't know what's going on with them, but clearly there's some holes in that defense too. And it makes that Jets offense look not as great as we thought they were going to be after that first week. But yeah, I just wanted, you were on that topic. I wanted to bring that up. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I just want to actually just comment on that, because I don't have like an answer directly to like how good are the Steelers, how good are the Jets. This just goes back to how tough early season NFL is and why the sport is so much fun to, follow week in and week out, is because like you don't know who's good and who's bad. You don't know, for example, like the Steelers, a lot of people, sharp people included, had a strong prior that this defense was going to be a great defense because some of the names they have on there and some of the plays that they played the last couple of years. And through 2 weeks, you would be crazy to say that the Steelers have a great defense. With that being said, were they two, tough situational matchups that they just didn't, perform as well as they should? Or is this defense actually a lot worse than anticipated and you have to downgrade them accordingly? So all these questions are tough to answer. More games, more time, more, as we get more information, we'll get more confident in that. But with that being said, the reason why the NFL is so crazy in a good way is because over just a 16 or 17 game sample size, even that is not enough to like definitively say whether or not a team is good, a team is bad. So just some food for thought from like a pricing perspective. Jake likes HN. For me on this one, I make the number 11.25. So like I do see some value on Miami. With that being said, as it is with early season numbers and the way I make my numbers, like I'm not saying I'm sharper than the market and I'm not blindly betting some things, especially when there are like big discrepancies. But all things considered, if I had to make a pick, it's on Miami. But with that being said, we have streams tomorrow and we'll get the games tomorrow. So I have a stream tomorrow while I lock in if I do lock in anything. But overall, Jake, for me, I do want to look at the EV screen for like props again quickly, but overall, this to me is like going to be like realistically just a straight pass from a game line perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to do a deeper dive later tonight / early tomorrow. Just, most of the injury reports are out for this game, but like I just don't like these wonky spreads, and like there's always value in every game, but sometimes you really got to look for it. So I just didn't get the chance to do all that yet.
Right here, seeing something, Tyreek Hill, a Kalshi plus 178, Profit X plus 176, and DK 175. I normally like the DVIC from some of these, sharper exchanges and prediction markets. FanDuel also. So like there is seeing some value to Penny here. But to me personally, I don't think that's a strong enough EV play to lock in. As you see some low percentages, it's football, of course. Like we're focusing most of these, not all of these actually are on Thursday night's game. There's a couple of, I don't know, they all are on Thursday. Just
what is Tyreek's touchdown?
Hold on, I just want to make sure that because this could be because I'm trying to make sure that I'm specified anytime. So just because props are low out, like I will talk about some early opening lines, but with that being said, as it stands, a limited menu for the rest of the week, which is why this is the day to go over the games holistically and then bet some stuff over the course of the next 3 days. But Tyreek touchdown, best price is 178 at Kalshi, and DK hanging at 175.
Yeah, I mean, prime time. One thing about this Bills defense that we knew was going to be trash going into the season was the secondary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's one of the only big playmakers that hasn't gotten in the end zone yet. What is he going to go to week 4 with no touchdowns? I don't know. They might make it an effort to get him the ball, even if it's on like the 2-yard line and he runs a quick out or one of those quick comebacks that he does at the pylon, but it might be worth it at plus 175. I mean, that's really good value. In my mind.
Podcast or something. That's the best price in market right now is actually a Kalshi. You guys are not utilizing Kalshi just yet. Very not to digress too much here on Kalshi prediction markets, but something that I do want to talk about, like while I do think overall these kind of markets will be, very prevalent in these. Well, they're pulling up HN here. I want to look for Tyreek. Yeah. You can see history of the trades and like all the market making. There's a lot of conversations. I'll save somewhat deeper dive for a later stream or a later like discussion. But with that being said, you got to be careful about some of these platforms because you are probably dealing with some really sharp traders or even some sharp like entities that are like corporations and whatnot. So best price at Kalshi, Profit X as well with a very good number. I want to just see what the liquidity is at this point for the over on Reek. 290, so decent for where we're at in the week. I'm sure we'll see up and down both ways, but definitely worth noting that you should be considering having like the Kalshis, the Noviks, and the Prophet X's in your betting repertoire or in your toolbox to like, get some trades down and get some good value there. But definitely interesting to note. But I like to see spots where DK has a worse price than some of these markets. Or of course, any of the softer books, 365, Hard Rock, because then that's some EV that I've been like eating up to start the season. But Jake, not making you make an official play. You basically gave it out. Do you have the balls to go Miami money line? Are you going to sprinkle even $5 for the boys for yourself?
Dude, if I were to do anything, I'd probably sprinkle the first half money line. Not gonna lie, I don't know if it'll be official. That might be my heart betting, but yeah. I do think that like I could see this being a close game to start. Like I could see everyone assuming Buffalo's going to blow them out. There's going to be a lot. I mean, the line moved from -8.5 to whatever -12. It might even get to -13 by tomorrow. Everyone's going to be hammering Buffalo. Buffalo's going to be in a lot of weekend money lines. Buffalo in the money line. I could see like a little scare in the first half. I mean, I still have faith in the Dolphins. We jumped the gun way too quick in week 2. Like, what was it? Was it last year or 2 years ago? Like they were trying to fire Sirianni, and then the Eagles went and won the Super Bowl. Like after week 2 or week 3, they were 1-2, and everyone, thought shit was hitting the fan and like wanted him gone. But then they, are a great franchise now, and it's only week 2. We have to remember that. Like the Chiefs are 0-2, the Dolphins are 0-2. There's a lot of teams that are 2-0 that are probably going to end below 500. So we will see. No, but I like betting with my heart, but I'm not stupid. So I don't know about a straight money line play. I'll see if my MLB bets sweep tonight, and then we'll put a little bit on the money line, but nothing official, just for fun.
Gotcha. And hate to be that guy, the Miami Dolphins are absolutely not winning the Super Bowl this year. So you can bank on that.
Now's a good time to take that bet.
Bengals Vikings. We all know the big news from this one. Of course, Joe Burrow not playing, Jake Browning in his stead. On the flip side, Carson Wentz steals the show. This actually has moved down to 3. I want to pull up the real-time odds from Outlier here and see what it's looked like from 3. We can actually pull it up over here. So we saw a lot of massive movement. So tons of movement here. 1.5 with both quarterbacks healthy. This is about a week ago. Look ahead. Before we see any injuries, you see sitting at 1.5 number, 1.5. Then all of a sudden we get as high as to 5.5 after Cincinnati, barely beats Jacksonville. They did win, and the Vikings could not get to Atlanta. And then we start getting the injury news, and we see how the odds creep from 3.5 to 4 to 2 to 3, where it's been sitting for a good amount of the week now. Of course, we have Browning. I've seen a bunch of statistics all over, and we can pull up some stuff for Browning if there are props out. But long story short, the advanced data guys are telling us, and nothing for Browning just yet, which makes a lot of sense considering he's a backup and injuries, etc. We have to. I think it's the conversation for this game particularly is less about how much of a downgrade Browning is from Burrow. Of course, he's a downgrade. How many points? That's of course up to you and your numbers. But the bigger question, Jake, is Wentz versus McCarthy. Talk to me about your thoughts on how much of a downgrade, if any, do you think Wentz is to JJ McCarthy, who we've only, of course, seen for 2 NFL games?
I mean, it's definitely a little bit of a downgrade, but I don't think. What did JJ McCarthy do? Play one good quarter? Yep. Like how much? I really thought. Now I think they got rid of Darnold because Darnold wanted to get paid, and they have a rookie contract, and he's supposed to be their guy. But I was almost like, how can you let Darnold go when he just did this for your franchise? Clearly, I mean, Justin Jefferson has been mute like for 2 weeks straight. I know he had a 14-yard touchdown, but I mean, it's not the Justin Jefferson we know of. Now Jordan Addison isn't there, so that's another piece of the puzzle, but that's for another day. Like I think Jordan Addison helps open things up a little bit for Justin Jefferson. But I mean, Carson Wentz has come in and always done pretty decent things when he has come in. Now he's going up against the Cincinnati Bengals defense that should be not that great this year. So that's another piece of the puzzle. But to be honest with you, if I'm eyeing anything up right now, I'm looking at a Cincinnati Bengals team total over 19.5 right now. If that's correct, if I'm seeing properly. I mean, they still have weapons, dude. They still have weapons. They have Chase Brown. They have Browning, who it's not like he's never started before. He's been in this position with the same exact team in the same exact system. Like, I don't think it's going to be as abysmal of an offensive team as we would think here with Burrow gone. I mean, definitely not the same, but
So I was kind of alluding to that earlier, where like the drop off is definitely like, of course, Joe Burrow is substantially better than Jake Browning, but I think in terms of running the offense and like being able to get the skilled players the ball in their hands and make things happen, as we know, so Joe Burrow, of course, can throw the ball deep and throw it well, but he does have some times where he can live with the yak game, which is, I'm not hating. It's just a fact. You have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Chase Brown. You just give them the ball in some space, even if it's 5 yards past the line of scrimmage, and let those guys run. But to me, the biggest issue and why I definitely lean toward Minnesota here, even though with my adjusted numbers, I make the game 275. So I do see some value on the 3 for Cincinnati getting it. But if we're talking just coaching now, which is, I guess, like this other layer that always needs to be discussed, it's Brian Flores, one of the best defensive coordinators in football, who's has one of the most creative blitz packages and does some of the most intricate, unique things to get throw quarterbacks off of their, groove, going against Jake Browning, who, of course, is a career backup and somebody who has had moderate success, to say the most, or to say to give him as much flowers as possible, moderate success when he's played, though I don't think he's some schlub when you're going from, again, QB 5 to 7 to QB 28 versus in the Viking situation when you go from QB, 27 to QB 29 or even 28, like however bad Wentz is, that much of a downgrade is not significant. And then you add on the fact, again, that you have the home field advantage in Minnesota, which is always a tough place to play, one of my higher home field advantages in all of football. And you have the massive mismatch that is Jake Browning going against Brian Flores. I'm not going to bet this game, but I just don't want to give that perspective. You put it into my head, though, even with my numbers saying, Cincy, I'm taking the Vikings in some capacity if I had to. But we'll see how some other injury reports go. But
the Flores thing, though, too, Eric. What have they done so far? Not to fully play devil's advocate, but they played the Bears, where they got the Bears still put up 300+ yards against them. That's the Bears offense. And then they played the Falcons, who also put up over 300 yards against them, like 330. I mean, the team stats don't even compare, but it's like those aren't two world beater offenses. And I understand that they were healthy and they do have some playmakers, but that's the only reason why I'm like, these teams have to prove to me, even though we think that their defenses or offenses are going to be good projected before the year starts. Like, now we're at the point where they have to prove to me before I put my money down, like, all right, the Vikings defense is going to be legit, or I'm going to see a 19.5 team total on a Cincinnati team with a bunch of weapons and be like, all right, if the Bears were able to do it and the Falcons were able to do it, I think I'll take the 20. It's a nice even number, or the 19.5 for them to get to 20. So that's just where my head is at. Like, they have to prove it to me right now. Same with the Steelers defense, same with the Jets defense, like same with the Bills defense, The
only thing I'll say back to that is, if you ask me, though, yards is like a very meaningless stat, because okay, they're getting shredded. They're doing well in the passing game, actually, which was the opposite of last year. Last year they were great against the run, and terrible against the pass. We're seeing a little bit of flip flop. 2-game sample, not a big thing, but I think the way the NFL is now, teams don't care if you throw for 400 yards on them if you're not scoring in the red zone, and this is where some of the big things come in here. Third down conversions on defense, stopping it. Passing and red zone efficiency, like those are the things to me that are a lot more important than if you let the other team accumulate yards, because as we saw in the Vikings game, all those yards led to field goals, and this because the offense was inept. And maybe that is could be less of an indictment on the Vikings offense and more of a pro of the Falcons defense, because they spent 2 first-round picks on pass rushers. They have a couple of good cornerbacks, so it's like maybe, and Raheem Morris, of course, is a defensive-minded coach. Because when you have something like Brian Flores and his defense, like that's something where you have like a strong enough prior on. It goes back to the Steelers, for example. Like they've had the same kind of D-line and defensive makeup, head coach and continuity, of course, as well, where it's like, okay, you can have a strong prior. What's up?
As in, like you're saying, we have stats on this. It's going to come together. Like, we can't take a 2-game sample size, and I understand that.
Absolutely. Then back to the Bears. Like, it's week 1, new coach, new offense. Caleb obviously was bad in a lot of different spots, but overall, they did a very good job overall, like if Caleb didn't make some of those mistakes, the game could have went differently. So I'm not saying that's like back to the Vikings. I'm saying week 1's always a little bit of a wash, because that's like essentially coming off a bye for both teams, having 2.5 weeks to prepare for one opponent. Then again, you can accumulate all the yards you want if you're not scoring touchdowns. any coach is going to be okay. If you're going to get beat me by scoring 5 field goals when you only score 6 points, you're not going to win many football games. So I'm not saying that to dissuade the 20.5 or anything. I'm just talking like if there is a 19.5, of course, 20 being a pretty key number. So that's a big difference there. But, total is down to 41.5. The spread is 3. So definitely expecting a lower scoring game overall in the market compared to what this probably would have been if Burrow was healthy there. But all in all, to me, just my biggest thing to monitor, or my biggest like mismatch that of course is priced in the market. So I'm not going to call it like an edge to bet. But I think the reason why the line is sitting where it's at and might not even dip below this 3, even though it is pretty priced pretty well both ways, is because of that Flores mismatch and the fact that Wentz might not be a downgrade whatsoever to JJ McCarthy. But let's keep rolling here. Again, we're going to look at props when they're available. Again, streaming tomorrow and Friday and Sunday. So hit that. Make sure you follow me on X to make sure you don't miss a stream. If you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, hit that follow button. Colts Titans. Colts obviously 2-0, beat the Broncos. That late leverage call got them some yards to make that field goal. Titans look abysmal, which is not necessarily shocking, but they did play 2 very good football teams, or one pretty good in Denver, one very good in LA. All in all, Cam Ward, as much as I want to show love to the boy, has not performed well, and this team seems like they have just a bunch of issues from the top down. 3.5, let me look at my numbers quickly. I have this at 3.75, so I actually still see some value in the Colts even laying this 3.5 price. I know it's a divisional game. I know those always go wonky, especially between these 2 teams. But I'll stop rambling. Jake, any initial thoughts on Titans, Colts, and what you've seen from these teams the last couple of weeks, and what you maybe do expect for this one?
Oh, I've seen plenty of the Colts on week 1. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand. I think the line should be even bigger. I mean, I'm seeing -4.5 on, -3.5 on a couple books, but a lot of them have it at 4.5 already. The main ones, DK, FanDuel, Caesars. I mean, if I would go anywhere, it would be the Colts. You kind of said it. I mean, I can't put my eggs in the Titans basket at all right now. I mean, I think they have potential, and they did play some good teams, but the Colts have also not really. They're one of the teams, the 2-0 teams, that haven't given me a reason to, bash on them or bet against them yet. I mean, did we think we could have thought that the Dolphins offense was just going to be trash when after that week 1, I mean, they basically shut them out. They gave up a last-second touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Mm-hmm. Then we just saw the Dolphins. I know it was against the Patriots, but they still hung almost 30 there. So it might just be the Colts are a pretty decent team here. Is there a Danny Jones revival? It's like these quarterbacks leave New York, and then all of a sudden they have a new life, and they're somewhat decent.
It's amazing what some good coaching and some good weaponry and some pretty good linemen can do for.
Maybe the Dolphins should put in Zach Wilson and we'll start winning. You never know.
You never know. If you get out of New York, you get away from Meadowlands, and your career is looking like you're ready for a revival here. I think like I couldn't bet the Titans. Like even if my numbers said this was like closer than it should be, where I actually do agree with you, Jake, where this probably should be a higher spread overall. I think it's a Colts spot. I think Daniel Jones at this point is just pretty good. As a Commander fan, of course, I saw a lot of Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones always turned into one of the best quarterbacks in the league every time he faced Washington during his career in New York. We never were able to lock him down. Obviously not like dying on those hills or those sample sizes, but all in all, I haven't been shocked about the Colts. I had the Colts week 1. I bet them, and I used them in Survivor. I talked about this on stream. I don't know if it was one of the times you were here, Jake, where I thought that I said out loud. People in chat definitely know where I was like, I think the Danny Jones experiment is going to really work out well. And of course, the Colts are validated by sitting Richardson and playing Daniel Jones. They've won 2 games. There's no way in hell Anthony Richardson would have won either of those 2 games if he were. I probably would have beat Miami, because who wouldn't beat Miami?
Well, also the Colts offense. I mean, have they scored on every drive this year so far, or almost every drive? They scored on every drive against the Dolphins. The Dolphins broke the record for giving up the most scoring drives in a row going into the Patriots game. I think they let the Patriots score in their first 3 drives too. But
so I saw they didn't punt, but I don't know if they like went for any 4th downs or whatnot. I had no action on Colts Broncos. So
I mean, the Indianapolis punter just getting paid millions to just like ride the pine for a 5th of the season already or whatever.
behind Daniel Jones, man. If Daniel Jones is the one doing that for you, kudos. But
I'm gonna watch or something.
just want to talk a little JT right now because what he's doing is incredible, but this usage, man, is ridiculous. 59.7% rush share. DJ, the only one who's getting some rushes. Of course, some of those are also like, modified tush pushes, QB sneaks, etc. On the 1 yard line. So we've been vulturing some touchdowns from JT, but this rush share is ridiculous, and I don't see any reason why this would kind of stray away. But the market is obviously caught up with his line being 88.5. Titans do have a couple of big guys up front. Jeffrey Simmons always is going to be a factor there. We look at the injury report quickly. Don't need to spend like overly too much time on this one because again, it's not something I have a play in. And looking at the markets here, I'll pull up the EV on another monitor so we can flip back and forth for some prop EVs on some props to see what pops up. But I mean, listen, there's all in all, and like again, you could say like recency bias this or that, but I kind of spoke about it for a majority of the summer where I'm personally not shocked to see how DJ with a bunch of good weapons, a good head coach, a very good head coach, and a guy like JT back there doing what they do, and that is moving the football, playing in structure, and honestly turning up.
Well, let's talk a second about Tyler Warren too. The kid's absolutely taking over. I think he's the favorite for offensive rookie of the year right now, which actually leads me to a quick point I wanted to touch on is it might be a good time to go in on like Ashton Jeanty for offensive rookie of the year. I've been looking at it. I think it's at like plus 500 now. It opened up. I think it was plus 190. He was a big favorite. But now you have guys like Egbuka and Warren snapping here early in the season. Might be a good time to get like a plus 550 ticket on Jeanty because they're going to continue to feed him. That he's going to get his, whether it's in the passing game or the run game. They gave him the ball 11 times on Monday on the ground. Like you gotta give the kid more than that. But I just wanted to point that out. Warren's been killing it. Is it going to be sustainable? Is Egbuka going to be sustainable throughout the season? I think Egbuka will be, but I also think Jeanty has not been playing to the potential he will be in 3-4 games, and might be a good time to get some value on that.
So I'll talk a little bit more Jeanty in just a second here as it's the next game after the one we have going. I have some thoughts on Jeanty and, of course, on my Commanders in Vegas. But let's go to Atlanta, Carolina. Keep running down the board here. We'll look at some of the market movement as well, courtesy of Outlier.bet. If you want to see injury reports, market movement, find EV plays, find all the props that you can really want. They have every single prop here. Of course, the markets aren't up yet. That's not an outlier thing. That's just the market thing. 7-day free trial. Scan the code. I'll also post a link after I give a little bit of a spiel here. But overall, Jake, obviously, so I always thought the Panthers could be decent. But at this point, they're clearly like not better. They're not good, right? They're like really bad. Bryce Young looks horrible. What's up?
They're a college football team. Like literally, they're a college football team.
Absolutely. They're the closest thing to a minor league at this point. Like, unfortunately, McMillan looks good. The rest of the team looks terrible. They host the Falcons. AFC South games always get a little bit crazy here. We could pull up some metric just for fun, though, of course, new regime. Not necessarily new regimes for both teams, actually the same coaching staffs, but you guys know what I mean. New situations here. Any strong thoughts here on Falcons, Panthers? Because as somebody that has a Falcons NFC South pick, I don't feel great because of the Buccaneers, but I think this should be business as usual for a defense that's so bad. A Falcons team that obviously Bijan is out of this world. Drake London needs to pick his shit up. But talk to me a little bit, Jake, on your thoughts on the Falcons Panthers.
Yeah, dude, I don't see the Panthers stopping the Falcons at all. Like, I think the Falcons will probably blow them out. I mean, heartbreaking. I mean, the Falcons are probably 25 seconds away from being 2-0.
Yeah, I do know.
Some miracle play, and honestly, I think that they had the ball. The Falcons had the ball and they scored right at the.
Younghoe Koo missed the field goal to tie.
Field goal to tie. Yeah, that's what it is.
And that's why they had this Romo kid who went 5 for 5 on Monday night.
Yep, went 5 for 5, and he brought the energy too. Yeah. Long story short, I mean, the Falcons I have them to win the division too. They were a missed field goal away from at least sending it to OT and possibly being 2-0, but I think that they kill the Panthers. I don't know how this is like under a touchdown right now.
So definitely agree. And some things I do want to mention here that are really back to the Falcons, right? So it's like the question now is how good is the Falcons defense? We know Penix is pretty good. We know they have Bijan London. Even like Pitts plays decently overall so far. Darnell Mooney, they have the weapons were never really the question. Is how this defense is going to perform, especially their pass rush, because they spent a lot of capital on them. And then this is the worst case scenario for the Panthers because the Falcons defense might actually be good. Robert Hunt, starting guard, bicep surgery, he's out. Austin Corbett, starting center, left knee MCL, he's also out. So you have cluster injuries on the offensive line for the Panthers for a team that already struggles in pass blocking and run blocking. Now, having to face the Atlanta Falcons, who have shown some life in their pass rush. Like these two kids have been pretty good. They always had like a decent CB room. The Falcons are always a team that does botch. Don't get me wrong here. I'm looking at Outlier to pull up some of these numbers, Jake. But what am I looking for here? Yeah, some of these team rankings like this. Let's switch it up here to defense. 14.5 points allowed. That includes again a JJ McCarthy second start and a Buccaneers team that is good though. Again, always week one with a grain of salt. Doing well in the red zone. Have to work on third down here, but stopping teams from converting. Passing yards, rush yards doing well. A couple of turnovers. They're sixth in sacks, which again is very early in the season, but for a team that's perennially in the bottom of the NFL in sacks, for them to be top 10 in sacks and top 7 in QB hits so far. We want to see these, these two numbers.
There's two mobile quarterbacks too. I mean, that even puts a little more into those stats, honestly. Baker and JJ can escape the pocket, and they clearly weren't.
And that's what I want to know too, because like maybe there is some correlation. I want to look into some deeper numbers off stream here, because sacks and hits are high, but QB hurries and tackles are low. I don't know if that is a product of the quarterbacks they face with their ability to like use their legs a little bit, maybe making those numbers be lower while these ones are higher. But all in all, I'm with you. I think the Falcons are a legitimately good team. I can't wait to watch them, below an AFC or an NFC South lead like the Falcons perennially have done recently. But there are some props up we can just discuss. I just want to say, and everybody knows this, but Bijan Robinson, what a freaking animal, bro.
What an animal. I would target his rush attempts when I don't think that they're up right now. Are rush attempts up?
I don't think so.
They're gonna be winning this game, and they're just gonna be feeding him the ball.
Is it another situation potentially, Jake, though, to bet an Algier touchdown because he stole it last week, and if the Falcons are kicking their ass, they're going to give it to Algier in the third and fourth quarter. Do you think there's a potential for a vulture touchdown, especially at $260? That's a pretty juicy price for somebody who scored last week and still does get go to the rush share here, does still get 38% of the rush share, and in the red zone, only 2 fewer rush attempts than Bijan.
Yeah, I mean that is a good price. I'll say this though. I mean, I think 5.5 is too small of a number, but like I don't think that they're up like 28-0 and like not playing their starters. I think they're gonna let Bijan get his, obviously, because he didn't last week. I think that's a little bit of a factor, but who's saying he won't have like 2 in the first half, So very likely that Algier is gonna get a heavy load if Bijan's at 102 yards with 2 touchdowns like in the third quarter. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind that. I just know that they're gonna be pounding the rock. He's probably going to average like 5 yards a carry, and they're going to have no reason to even throw the ball. On the flip side, I mean, I would like to look at some of these receivers unders for yards or receptions, just because if they're winning and pounding the ball like I expect, I mean, they're not going to be throwing the ball. And again, at the end of the game, if they are up a decent amount, they probably aren't going to be in the game. So not a bad look for receiving yards.
No, I agree, because they're not going to need to throw the football. Realistically, the Panthers' run defense has been abysmal. It still is abysmal. Like that's their closest thing to collegiate is their quarterback play and their inability to stop the run. So I don't disagree. I think that's probably a good look. And back to the Algier Bijan, like you can't even say at this point that like, oh, they're playing their backups. Like, Buffalo and the Jets, that fourth quarter, they were straight up playing their backups because, week 2, nobody wanted to get hurt. Algier is part of what they do.
Yeah.
Hate it or love it, fantasy owners, prop bettors for the back and Bijan overs. He's part of what they do. So I'm intrigued by that. I'm going to see how that number moves. It's 260 at 365, which is not available for me and not widely available for a lot of people. But watch stream tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday and Sunday, and we'll see if we lock in some Algier later. But we can move on here. I think we're both in agreement that let me just pull up my numbers. I don't know if I quoted them yet, but yeah, I think that this game should be closer to 6 as well. So I'm with you with a little bit of confusion, I should say, about I think it's a little short, but we'll see.
Yeah.
NFC South games get crazy. But let's keep rocking here, Jake. Let's go back to the games. I have the EV screen open on another tab, by the way, boys. So I'm still monitoring if anything pops up. Commies, Raiders, JD5 not playing. Not officially not playing. He's not playing. From everything I read, I'm a Commander fan, for those who know. I obviously read a little bit more about the Commanders. I don't think he's playing football, meaning Marcus Mariota will step in. The market seems to, in my opinion, be split. I think when JD is officially ruled out, this absolutely goes under the 3. I'm mad at myself for not locking in the Raiders at like 7.5 on the early look ahead, because I was like, that's abysmal. 3.5 got up to 5, maybe with some optimism about Daniels, but Daniels was not playing. Jake, talk to me about your thoughts on the Raiders and the Commanders. We know they've been struggling a little bit offensively. JD5, of course, is hard to handicap, but do you feel strongly one way or another about either of these two teams through 2 weeks?
I really don't. I mean, I thought the Raiders were going to be a lot better on Monday. I was on them at plus 3.5, and just like the way that they handled situations, even at the end, where they were given like these slight opportunities to make comebacks, fumble recoveries, and when they shouldn't be getting them like late in the fourth quarter. But Geno just reminded me of like I was watching Tua, honestly. He's throwing the ball right to the defense. I mean, come out, you throw a terrible first pass and it gets picked off. And then like even the rest of he had a couple other opportunities that should have been interceptions. But going into it, I was like, oh man, the Raiders, like they're going to maybe be that team this year. Like they might give some teams for their a run for their money, especially in the AFC West. Like they play all those teams twice, and I could see them splitting here and there with the Chiefs, with the Chargers, and being that team that could like crash some of these parties. But again, like you can't look good one week and then just absolutely terrible the next. So really no thoughts other than the good spot for Genti, I think. I know that you were going to mention something along those lines too, but I think he can turn it around here against a Washington defense that, time has told us they haven't been the best. So I think it's time to buy some Ashton Genti stock, in my opinion, especially at plus 500, plus 550, whatever he's at.
So glad you brought that up because it almost slipped my mind. But I'm going to disagree with not your overall thesis of like buying Genti eventually. I think you still got to wait one more week. Washington, they lost Dietrich Wise, who's a big interior guy for them. He plays on the outside, but he's like another big body. Washington, their run defense had looked good against the Giants. Of course, they can't run the football, but the Packers as well, which they didn't really care about that. They did what the Packers do. They beat them downfield to now the floor put on a masterclass and just, basically embarrassed Joe Witt and Dan Quinn on national television. And Cliff Kingsbury as well was embarrassed by the Packers DC. But no, I don't think that this is the week where Genti like figures it out. I think that they're going to try to rely on him, but let me rephrase that. I don't think this is the week where they like hand him the football 25 times like they did week 1, even though there was no success. I'm going to see if there are some Genti props up just to get some numbers for him. But I disagree that so far you have touchdowns only, which is minus 105. I mean, I love this under, to be honest. I'm sure one of these Novig, et cetera, is offering the under. I'll pull up the odds here for the boys, but I don't think it's this week where Genti turns up. Washington's pass run defense has been good, and I know Geno Smith looked bad, but Washington got torched in the air by Jordan Love and the Packers. And that's not to say, of course, that Geno and this Raiders offense is anything like that. Very good liquidity on both sides, actually. Here, I do like this under for Genti to score a touchdown. I think that Geno Smith is actually going to have more success than the Commanders will. I'm curious if there's Bowers numbers out. I know he's a little bit banged up, but I think we saw what Tucker Kraft did. I think that he just exposed a huge gaping hole in Washington's defense and how they do things. And I don't think this is a run game for the Packers. I think this is a game where for the Raiders, they can capitalize on Washington's secondary, which is clearly out of whack. And it's precious to the number, but I just do want to mention it because how much it's worth is, still, I guess, beauty in the eye of the beholder. Raiders going from the West Coast on Monday into Washington off a short week. Historically, that's a good spot for the home team on the East Coast, facing a West Coast team on a short week against a team with extra rest. Definitely baked into whatever number. And of course, this number is not even finalized without JD5 officially being rolled out. Though, as a Commander fan, from what I'm reading, he will not be playing. I hope he plays. All in all, I think there is overall. I think there is a good spot for the Raiders. I think Mariota actually will be able to move the football on this team. I don't really want to keep rambling here because I don't have enough to talk about I don't have enough conviction, I should say. But come this time tomorrow on stream, we could have a different story, especially Friday and Sunday. But do you have any final parting words for Raiders Commanders?
Yeah, just the last parting words, not really about the game, but about the offensive rookie of the year comment. The two people in front of him are Igbokwe and Warren. And I think that the Bucs and the Colts are they're going to win comfortably. And I don't think that they're going to be throwing the ball often. So even if they have 2 down games and Genti, clearly they're not the favorite. So they're going to be utilizing him one way or the other, whether it's not on the ground, he's going to be getting his. As long as he has slightly better weeks than them and you lock this bet in right now, which I might just do, you're still going to be getting value because even if he's plus 550 right now, and at the end of this week, he's plus 480. I'm getting value there. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's a long season, but Vegas is rarely super off early on in the season like this. So, I think that it's a good opportunity to buy some Genti stock. Don't have to go crazy and put the mortgage on it, but put a quarter of the unit on it here and there. If it gets worse, another quarter unit and. Hopefully he turns up the second half of the season, but that's just where my head is at. What are these guys that are ahead of them? They also have to maintain this level of play, and they're also receivers. So, or receivers, tight end, they catch the ball. So there's a lot that goes into a receiver and a tight end versus a running back because the utilization of a running back is usually much more than those guys. So, those are my ending parting words here.
Totally feel you. Again, my rebuttal was just simply that I don't think this is the game where he turns up where he could get more value in 7 days from now. But the same way I'm saying you could get more value in 7 days from now, you can get the odds might not be there in 7 days from now. So
we don't even know. So the only reason we'll know is next week. So
absolutely. Jaguars Texans. I just want to say that Trevor Lawrence stinks. If you were a Jaguars ticket holder, I feel bad for you. You were quite literally covering for 59 minutes and 57 seconds, and you have a losing bet at the end there. Houston coming off a terrible loss on Monday. I say terrible in the sense where just heartbreaking. Obviously, they still look decent overall. I am a little bit actually encouraged of how they moved the football, even though, again, this offense looks to be broken. Jake, I'm going to, of course, want to hear your thoughts on the game holistically, but quick, I guess, digression, though, on the Texans as well. Do you think it's possible Houston is a 5 to 6 win team this year? Because they're 0-2, and that, of course, they have some ground to make up. I would not be shocked if the Texans finish this season 6-11.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked, but that defense is no joke. I will add that if they aren't in that boat where they have 5, 6, 7 wins, it's going to be because their defense. And look at these 2 terrible games that they played in the first 2 weeks, and they were still in it till the end. So, yeah, I mean, I don't not agree with you there. But that defense is going to cause issues all year round for every single team.
So defense could keep them in games. Absolutely. We'll pull up some rankings here. Offense, dead last in scoring for Houston, dead last in red zone efficiency, dead last in third down conversions, 29th in first downs, 28 in passing yards. We know the run game was broken until that Nick Chubb rushing touchdown to end the game, which one of the Buccaneers players today basically kind of implied that they let him score. I think that might be far fetched. I think it might have been the right decision if they did do that.
This is the game I was thinking about before, Eric, when we were talking about the Bucks, and I was like, the Bucks Falcons. I was thinking about this game. I was like, why did he score? He should have went down, Chubb, because then they probably would have won the game. They needed one more first down, and they could just take a knee until they kick a field goal.
I do know. And thinking about Jacksonville here, I think their defense might be a little bit better than anticipated, though, of course, the main matchup here would be thinking about how this offense does against the Texans defense that's fifth in scoring, doing pretty well on the ground, but the Jaguars have been great at defending the ground game. Texans middle of the pack passing, forcing turnovers, TBD. Jaguars not allowing a lot of sacks is also good. Let me look at my numbers quickly here. Have my sheet open. All right, so I'm closer to this game being more of a PK. So I actually do see some value on Houston at this point at plus 124 on the money line. But again, I don't know. I'm not gonna belabor anything here. Realistically, if anybody in chat has a stronger opinion, I'll have a stronger opinion, I'm sure, by tomorrow as well as Friday streams. I think Houston could potentially be dead in the water here. And the fact that I want to pull up the spread here and look at the movement on the line here, because this is telling. So I'm a little bit caught off guard just because I haven't been monitoring the market enough the last 2 days, because I was like, didn't I see this as closer to a PK? And the answer is I did. This thing actually flipped entirely from a pricing perspective. So indicating some money coming in on Jacks from some respected bettors here. I personally this is look ahead stuff. That doesn't really matter. But there was this point 7 days ago where the Jags were underdogs. That flipped pretty quickly, and it's been Jacksonville as the favorites, getting up to 2.5. Don't think this would get to 3 though, but we'll see. We'll see. Clear some love for Jacksonville. Let's keep rocking. Steelers Patriots. This is the game where I'm so conflicted on, Jake, because my numbers show value on the Patriots, and I think I do have a pretty good feel for New England so far. Had them week 2. I faded them week 1. So 2-0 on Patriots bets this year. Jake, the Steelers, we're talking about, are they good? Are they not good? I kind of like this over at 44.5. I'm not going to lie. That's my first initial instinct. What's your first thoughts on Steelers Patriots?
Honestly, I have zero thoughts, but isn't this another game that the line flipped fully? I'm pretty sure, because at first I saw the Steelers were an underdog when the lines came out. Now I'm seeing them minus 1.5. Was I seeing things, or is that true?
No, there was heavy Pittsburgh money yesterday. Tilting this line, moving this line over. Absolutely, there was. I noticed that as well. I saw that as well. This is one of the things I caught. I
was kind of shocked when I saw Steelers were the underdog for a second. I mean, I think is the Patriots beating the Dolphins that big of a deal? I mean, if you look at that game, there were kick returns, punt returns. Dolphins really should have won. I mean, Achane stepped out of bounds and on a touchdown by 2 inches. Let's be real. I mean, that's the homer in me also, but realistically,
no, I don't disagree. As a Patriots backer, I mean, I'm taking the team at plus money, so I hate to say I'm lucky per se, because I bet them because I thought that they were better than a 50% chance to win, and they were getting priced at plus 120. But no, the Patriots winning that football game is definitely somewhat goes into the luck box. Absolutely.
Yeah, but hey, that happens. That's part of the game. I am not opposed to that over, though. I mean, I think we're going to see one of two things. Either this is the Pittsburgh defense come out game where they just absolutely shut down the Patriots, and we're all right, Pittsburgh is back / the Patriots offense isn't as good as it was last week versus an abysmal Dolphins defense, or we just see absolute fireworks, and it is almost like the solidifier that the Pittsburgh defense is not what we thought it was going to be this year. So I'm personally staying away, but 44.5 is pretty low in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And I do think the Steelers are going to score a decent amount themselves. So that's where I stand here.
Yeah, and I totally understand that and feel that, because I'm conflicted. I feel like this is a good Patriot spot, but again, it goes back to how good is Seattle's defense, because they, did pretty well against Aaron Rodgers and co. in that game, though there were some opportunities the Steelers missed. Then it goes to how bad is the Patriots defense, and the answer is they could be like pretty freaking bad. That could be the reality, is they're just really not good. Drake May showed some signs, but as we know, there's not like there's a outpouring of like weaponry around him. Travion Henderson so far has looked like, I'm not gonna call him a bust, but like he can't pass protect, can't be on the field. Of course, Diggs is old. Kayshon Boutte is like, is Boutte actually really?
Father,
What's up?
Stefon Diggs. I shared that earlier. You know, congratulations to him and Cardi B. No one really gives a damn, but they're having a kid. Yeah,
they're having a child. Best of luck to the family there. I don't know if any dad strength comes in there for.
Well, I guess Stephon won't be spending his Valentine's Day with multiple different women in the same hotel this year, or maybe he will. I mean, he's a dog like that, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if that disproves anything. Quick look at some rankings here. Steelers offense scoring looks good, though. Of course, heavily inflated a little bit by that week 1. Same with their red zone efficiency. Third down and first down numbers a little bit concerning. Rushing yards, of course, very concerning as well. Though they did mention they want to get Jaylen Warren going more in the passing game as well as the rushing game. I think he's obviously earned that. The guy, I've always been a Warren fan. He looks built like a bowling ball, and that is a compliment in the National Football League for a running back. Flipping sides here, Patriots struggling to score. Red zone numbers not so great. First downs as well, but Drake May again pretty good passing numbers, looking like a good player in year 2. Not doing a great job though avoiding sacks. Though the Steelers D-line has not been creating them, but this could be a match for them to do it. Hate to again have so much like indecision. I'm not really indecision, but just like not a ton of like bets for this one from a perspective of the game lines. But that being said, boys, like I've said 8 times, hit that follow button because I'm streaming, you know, for the next 4 days, and we're going to definitely have some bets because we were cashing out on all prime times. It's been a great season so far for the boys. So shout out to everybody who rides along and stream. But let's keep moving here. This game, I think, is a very
it don't need a bet on every game, you know. Just
absolutely not.
Some games just suck, and you're like, all right, there's a lot of games that don't suck. Let me just focus on those.
And I do have one bet that I've locked in. We just haven't got there yet. Could jump there in a little bit, but we're going through the board pretty well here. Rams Eagles, Jake. I've heard some conflicting opinions that people think that this line, and I say people, when I say people, I refer to people that I listen to and content I consume that I believe to be sharp people. So like I'm not talking about the random tweets I see from people, people on like shows and programs and podcasts, etc., that I believe to actually give me some information that help my handicapping. Rams Eagles though 3.5. Jake, gut reaction to this number, because I've heard arguments that people that I respect their opinions thinking that this number should be closer to like 4, 5, 6.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't mind the Rams with the points here. If my gut reaction is, I mean, the Eagles now they played the Chiefs. That was a good win. What are the Chiefs right now? You know, like they're injury ridden. Are they going to be the same Chiefs that we know and love, or maybe some people don't love? I mean, I don't personally love them. And then they played the Cowboys. So the Cowboys have also shown that they might not be a great team this year either. So how much stock is in the Eagles, where I think the Rams are going to be pretty good? I mean, devil's advocate to myself, they beat the Titans and they beat the Texans, but I mean, they handled the Titans pretty accordingly. And the Texans, that score does not really define what that offense did. I mean, they went down into against this good Texans defense, and they were in their territory multiple other times where they did not score. They went for it on 4th down. They ended up having to punt twice on 2 4th and longs that they got backed up still in the Rams territory. I think they had a fumble. So I don't think that score really does justice. I think it's going to be a good game. I mean, like if I'm getting more than a field goal with the Rams, I think that's the spot. If it was 4, 5, 6, I mean, I know it opened up at 4.5. I didn't see that, so I didn't have the time to jump in. But like if I had to lean right now, it's totally on the Rams with the points.
Yeah, so I think the Rams are a very good football team. I've upgraded them massively. Stafford can sling it. Puka is, in my opinion, probably the 3rd best receiver in football right now. He is a freaking dog, man. He's so good. Tay obviously has stuff left in the tank. Kyron's a good player. This defense, as we see, first in scoring, though, again, they played the Texans as well as the Titans, who are quite literally probably could go down as 2 of the bottom 5 offenses. So, like, don't want to overreact to that. Red zone, though, doing very well. Passing yards, holding them down. Creating some turnovers, we'll see. But that's defensive line, sacks, hurries. I want to talk Birds, though. They're just so polarizing, man, because, like, on one hand, they don't do anything that a good team does except win, which is obviously the most important thing. Like, I saw the clip of, like, Chris Jones chirping on, like, oh, you only have 100 yards or something. It's like Jalen Hurts, like, scoreboard, bro. Like,
he's like, won the game.
And deep down, man, like, that's what I respect realistically. Like, I don't care if you win ugly, but, like, they win football games. The Eagles are just built like a winning team from offense to defense. With that being said, when it comes to a point spread of 3.5 over a key number, I do also directionally lean to the Los Angeles Rams here as well. Don't have anything bet here, but this is going to be a fun matchup because the Eagles can just beat you in annoying ways. But here is a big thing I actually want to call out, and like we're not going to know until.
What if you're going to say the same thing that I'm about to say or that I'm thinking? Go ahead.
I think probably we are. I am very curious if they actually start to, by they, I mean the NFL officials actually start calling the tush push differently.
Oh, no, that is not what I was thinking. I was thinking, what is this Eagles team going to do if they're trailing? Like, I feel like they've been in control of most of these games, and I could see the Rams coming out and punching them in the face really quick in Philly and wondering how they're going to respond. Like it's easy when you're winning and you're just handing the ball to Saquon and you're getting 4 or 5 yards a carry and you're putting together 8-minute drives. But like, what happens when you're losing and you have to throw the ball and you have to almost be predictable? Like, they haven't been in that situation yet. Now, I'm not taking away their win against the Chiefs or either of their wins, honestly, but that's just my thought process. Like I think the Rams are going to be the best team that they've played so far. And Absolutely. What's going to happen if they come out and punch them in the face and the Eagles are playing from behind? How are they going to respond to that? Because that's something we have not seen since the regular season last year. Even the playoffs and the Super Bowl, like they were in cruise control and didn't have to really deal with that. They're a great team. So, right, it makes sense. But, I'm curious to see how they're going to react to that. I think this is going to be their first test where that first half might not go how they plan. I might even look at like a first half Rams money line play.
So I'm glad because even though we're making different points, I am glad you made that up because Jalen Hurts is playing this like ultra conservative, boring as shit style of football where there's taking negative risk whatsoever. Key emphasis is solely, which again is winning football. So like I come off as talking shit, but like I am giving my flowers here realistically. Yeah. Like not turning the ball over and not taking sacks are two essential things to winning football games. But are they taking it too far with his terribly low ADOT and their inability to get any of the receivers going? That's another argument for another time, which, people can debate and, worthwhile conversation. But the tush push is such a weapon for them. And I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this, but we saw the NFL, finally call like a penalty on that. We saw them literally delete tweets talking about how the Eagles were lined up offsides. The NFL went out of their way to delete some of those tweets or get some of those videos copyright banned. That like they clearly have seen that and noticed that because of how big of a weapon it is for the Eagles. Like I genuinely believe, and this could be like a square belief, it could be a real rational belief, but I genuinely believe that if they're calling penalties on those and those 4th and 1s, 3rd and 1s that have been automatic first downs are now 5-yard penalties, that could impact the Eagles' ability to win football games as much as, like you just mentioned, Jake, because it was a great point, if they aren't out to a lead. So that's something to watch because if Jalen Hurts is going to be dinking and dunking and they don't have 2 plays on 3rd and 4th down to get 2 yards, but they just, play a rugby play and they actually turn into penalties that take away yards from them. Not saying the Eagles think or anything like that, but that's going to be really difficult for them to overcome.
And look at what if it's 2nd and 2, they're running it 3 times in a row. Now, that's taking 2 minutes off of the clock at the same time. So for them, when they're winning, it's a win-win. You're going to get the first down guaranteed. You're taking 1 to 2 minutes, at least 1 minute, like 1 minute and a half, 2 minutes off of the clock, and you're winning. So like that goes in your favor too. I didn't know that because in the offseason, they had the vote to ban it or not, and they voted to not ban it.
Yes.
So now what they're saying, this is news to me. So now they're saying that they'll penalize them they do line up off sides, but like both sides of the ball, like they're basically touching helmets when they just let it rock.
They just let it rock, but they called a penalty on one of the Monday night games for the teams using it, and the sentiment being that it's such a tough play to officiate. But because there is so much, and I'll pull up this picture here from Twitter. Absolutely despise this account, by the way. So like not endorsing the account, but a good picture. All these guys lining up off sides and like all the early movement, like that was clearly like videotaped evidence against the Chiefs in that first game. Like this is the difference between, again, automatic first downs and touchdowns and 5-yard penalties and making Jalen Hurts throw the ball or beat you traditionally. I think it's understated a little bit, even though everybody knows about it, how big of a weapon this is for them. And like, if they line up this way and we see in the first quarter, because we know they're going to run 2 of them in the first quarter minimum. If we see a flag get thrown, I think that's going to equate to a long day for the Birds and for a long potential season for them. Not going to go as far as to say, Jake, like I don't think that the NFL is not saying anything like we're going to start calling these. We see it, it's happening, but they've made subtle things like deleting certain videos and having certain things copyrighted, showing that they saw the hoopla and the nonsense around it. Like analysts, like nobody can deny that there is some shady shit going on during the tush push. And if they start calling those penalties, that is going to be very detrimental to the Birds, piled on to what you mentioned with how can they respond when they're not getting automatic first downs and leading games from the front. So
yeah, that'll throw a wrench in their plans for sure.
Let's keep rocking though. Jets, Buccaneers. This game was 7 at a point, but it's back to 6.5. Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield, dog. New York Jets are dog shit. Buccaneers, Jets, Jake. Any initial thoughts here? Because me personally, I think the Jets probably are a good look at this price, honestly. But it's one of those things for me where it's like I'm not betting U.S. currency on the New York Jets.
Yeah, definitely not on them. I mean, no problem doing it against them. But 7's a pretty big number. I would like the Bucs here if I had to choose, but looking at their team total over 25.5, I don't really. That's a big number. I mean, I think we can't sleep on the fact that the Jets defense was once good, and they're probably falling under the same category as the Steelers right now for me, where like they have potential to turn it around defensively. The offense is probably a lost cause. But are they going to continue to be this bad? I mean, the Bills is maybe a little bit of an exception. They did that to the Ravens as well. So, I don't know. 43.5. I mean, this game looks perfect to me right now. Over, under wise, spread wise, like Buccaneers by a touchdown. If anything, I'd have to take the Buccaneers, and like maybe I would expect a push if they win by 7, but nothing. I got nothing here. This is like the one game like I could really care less about, and one of those games where I said, you know what, there's so many other games to bet on in good spots. Like, why even try to force something here?
So while you were talking there, people in chat watching me, do some navigating through Outlier there, because I saw that I missed the under at 44.5, and this is something that's the problem. At -112, there's only $16 of liquidity on Novig. I'm mad at myself that I missed this 44.5. We just saw the market move on Outlier there. As you see, it was as high as 40. I mean, this is preseason, doesn't really matter. But today it dropped 1 full point under that key number. I think this is an under game. I think the Buccaneers offense is good, but I think that the Jets are gonna. I think it's too high of a number. I think the Jets with Tyrod Taylor, of course, that's definitely impacting it. No Justin Fields there. Forgot to mention that, but that's obviously big. We don't know how healthy Baker is. Obviously, ended up game-winning driving and turning up, but like adrenaline's a hell of a drug to some degree as well. So off the short week as well, I'm just a little weary about both of those offenses. We know the Buccaneers' run defense is just good. Has been good for years. Again, that's something where we can say with like pretty definitively because we know what it's like with Todd Bowles and this defense. Like they haven't had a ton of turnover. So long story short, if I see a 44 or 44.5 come up again, obviously that's closer to game time. I'm going to be a little bit weary because the market's more efficient. That means some respected money came back there. But to me, this is an under game, and I wish I got a better number here. I missed out, but I like the under in Buccaneers Jets.
Yeah, no, I have to agree.
Few more games to roll through here. Packers, Browns, Survivor. If you're in a Survivor pool, I think the Packers are an easy click. Joe Flacco stinks. This offense is fun with their rookies. I like how they're at least like getting Fannin. Judkins, of course, is back. Sampson, like they're letting the boys play. Even young guys like Seti Tillman, they're mixing it up. So I like kind of what stylistically the Browns are doing. They're definitely better than I thought they would be, but they still stink. Jake, any thoughts on Packers Browns? Because to me, the Packers are just a legitimately great Super Bowl contending team, where the Browns, of course, are the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. Aside from Super Bowl team, I mean, I know you have a Patrick Mahomes MVP slip, but a Jordan Love slip would look pretty nice right now. And I think the thing is, it's not like they have Christian Watkins. Like they don't have that wide receiver one. Like I just think that Jordan Love is the guy. I think if I'm going anywhere, it's Packers, but I don't like the 8 or the 8.5 or the 7.5. You hit the nail on the head with the Browns. I mean, I wouldn't bet the Browns if my life depended on it right now. Yeah, I mean, that's where I stand. Kraft snapped. I mean, he's not going to do that again. But look at what Jordan Love is doing. He's finding a way that playmakers are going to snap on different weeks. Like that's what makes it hard to bet these player props too. Who's going to be the one to snap? Like you're basically throwing a dart blind. But I would lean towards a Josh Jacobs ticket, if anything, just because, again, if the Packers are going to be tearing it up, winning the entire game, they're going to utilize him a lot. And they're most successful when Josh Jacobs is going full speed anyway. That dates back to last year. So I think their usage with him should go up here. To get him, I mean, he's minus 140 to score a touchdown. It's a given that he's probably going to get in the zone, but yeah, nothing really on the spread or the over or anything. If anything, I'd look at a Josh Jacobs prop somewhere. Don't know which one yet.
Yeah, Jacobs, big bell cap, 76.4% of the rush share. Though the Browns' run defense has been legit, and that's been very complimentary football. The Packers have been playing on offense. Of course, Jayden Reed is hurt. Yeah, I can end it there. I'll have more thoughts on tomorrow's stream and Friday's stream for everybody. So make sure you hit the follow button so you don't miss when I'm going live and talking ball. I've had some great weeks here. I do have a best bet that I've already bet, so I don't want to belabor anything here. But the Browns' run defense has been solid. I'm curious to see how the Packers do. They obviously have the extra week with that Thursday night game. Jordan Love, though, so good at avoiding sacks and avoiding negative plays. And I think that if he continues to do that, it's going to be really tough sledding for the Browns, whose defense has actually been pretty good, all things considered. Of course, the Ravens steamrolled them. The Ravens are like here, but I think the Packers could like really be there. Obviously, their offensively is different, where the Ravens are a juggernaut on O, where the Packers are really great on D. But not to belabor anything there. We'll see how the market matures, but I don't see an upset brewing in Cleveland. Chargers, Broncos, Jake. Chargers look fantastic. Broncos obviously lost the heartbreaker in Indy. Spread's 1.5, so this has gotten bet down. This was I saw this at 2.5 earlier, so there's some money coming in on Denver. Are the Chargers just like really that good? Because I think they could really be like that good at this point.
Yeah, I think they're that good. I mean, their defense is. I mean, they're just all over the place defensively. Their blitz packages, no one blitzes like them in who they send, and offensively, like Justin Herbert is that guy. They're not afraid to put the ball in this kid's hands. Like they should be running the ball to burn clock at the end of games, and they're like, no, we're gonna throw it like 2 of these 3 downs. Yeah, I mean they're legit. They're the real deal. And on the flip side, I don't think the Broncos are. I like the Chargers a lot in this game. Probably going to take them if it's still under a touchdown. I mean, I'm seeing some 3s, but I'm still seeing some 2.5s. Where are you seeing 1.5? Where is it?
Just pull it up here. It was over at Kalshi, but it was over at Novik, minus 128.
Novik?
So at that point, you're still better off betting a -2 alternate lines there. 2.5.
I love the Chargers, dude. I like them a lot, and I'm just not high on the Broncos right now. Like I think the Chargers are a much better team. They're at least a touchdown better than. I think the Chargers are at least a touchdown better than the Broncos right now, hands down.
So I want to fade this movement here. I like the under, honestly. I think the Chargers, the Broncos defense is still very good. We know the Chargers offense at this point looks like fireworks, but think the Chargers defense at this point is like really, really good. And Bo Nix has been god awful. I know that it's the Colts, but not like the Colts defense is really that talented. So best odds are at Kalshi, but then the next best price is at DK at 46.5. 47, of course, being a key number. So I'll do a quick little dive here. 130 MGM, I'm not paying 130 for that. And it seems like the prediction markets are not even offering some odds there. 47.5, 132, a little bit intriguing. I'll see what the rest of the market is and the liquidity quickly on profit. But this to me also, Jake, profiles as the under game.
Yeah.
Only 59 bucks.
The Chargers are allowing a 61.9 QBR, and they played Patrick Mahomes and Geno Smith. Number one in QBR allowed right now. So that is pretty impressive. It's not like they were playing some bums. I mean, they were playing the Chiefs and Geno Smith, who's an absolute gunslinger. So
this actually moved as we were speaking here, because as you saw on Outlier, it said 46.5 on DraftKings minus 115, but I just pulled up DK and it's 45.5. I'm betting this if I could find this at 46.5. Let's check Novig quickly. Gotta add some funds to the Novig account as well, because I want to get some action on this. What is this? It's minus 120. Where the only $136 of liquidity, unfortunately. Looks like I missed the boat again because there's also some bounce back movement back and forth here. If I can get an under 46.
Is Vegas listening to our stream right now? Are they in here?
Who's
we're moving lines. We're just talking about them, and they're like, oh no.
I don't know.
Can't give them this price.
Blake, nah, bro. I just like the under. I haven't even looked at Broncos team total. I know obviously it's a move to look at multiple markets. We'll see what some EV pops up, but like
it's 21.5.
So you could probably make that argument. All things considered, though, I think the Broncos defense is still good, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do play one of their best games of the season. They have to. It's like do or die, and it's week 3, which is why the NFL is so epic. Obviously, it's not entirely, but you guys know what I mean. I want to, when we talk about the next game and right off stream, like I'm telling you this now to everyone listening, if you can find a 46.5, I'm at a good minus 110 to minus 120, the max, like I'm betting that under.
Eric, I have a question. The Broncos defense, they're another one for me that's like they played the Titans and kind of held them under control, but then like the Colts ate them up. So are they like at that level of if Daniel Jones and the Colts offense was able to do what they wanted, are they going to be able to stop Justin Herbert and this Chargers offense?
I think they're entirely different offenses. Like you have Jonathan Taylor, who's like was the kingpin there when like Chargers Taylor can't run the ball for crap. Obviously Herbert better than Jones, but again, we've complimented Jones and I've complimented. I had high hopes and like so far so good. I think it's like a crash down to earth situation, honestly. Not like crash to earth, that's a little bit aggressive, but no, I'm not like some teams you clearly upgrade their priors or downgrade, etc. Like I'm not at the point where I'm downgrading the Broncos defense team overall with their offense, how they're playing. Absolutely. Defense to me personally, no, I'm still a big fan of that under.
Good to know. Good to know.
Saints, Seahawks. Saints, I've said this a few times on stream. 1-1 ATS. I think they're a team that might only win 4 or 5 games, but might cover a shit ton because Rattler seems decent. But overall, just a roster devoid of talent. Seattle looks like a dog week 1 against the Niners, but puts up an impressive performance, however you want to slice it, against the Steelers in Pittsburgh, hosting the Saints. I'll start here quickly. I'm in a Survivor League where after this week I cannot buy back, but this week I'd still buy back. I'm all for entries on the Seahawks because, of course, if they lose and I lose the Saints, I'm not losing any sleep over it. But I'm a fan of the Seahawks to win this game. However, I think the Saints are definitely a sneaky cover. But I don't have a ton of opinions on either of these teams from preseason or even currently. Jake, you have anything insightful on Saints Seahawks? Because I got nothing, unfortunately, there.
Nothing super insightful. I wouldn't mind an over here, honestly. I know the Seahawks defense has looked pretty good, but dude, the Saints are sneaky on offense. They really are. I mean, I think the Seahawks are going to absolutely shut up the Saints when the Seahawks are on the offensive side of the ball, but I could see the Saints putting up a couple touchdowns as well. Wouldn't say that they cover anything, but 41.5 is also a super low number in my opinion.
Mhm.
And 42 is a nice even football number. So 41.5 over that doesn't look too ugly to me right now.
I don't disagree at all, honestly, at all. I forgot who I was listening to, but somebody who opinion I respect as well as yours, Jake, was on that same play, and I think that there is a situation. There's a at first after week 1, I was like, okay, maybe Darnold just absolutely sucks because even last year with the Vikings, which was a like revolutionary season for him, it's not like he was a world beater. He was 16th in like EPA and some other metrics. Obviously, Seattle overall downgrade from the situation in that perspective, but no, I'm with you here. Novig best price -103. If you guys are not on Novig, promo code BetSmart, get yourself started. Get a purchase match up to $25, $100 100% purchase match. I'll leave it at that for you though, Jake. I actually, from what I'm seeing, I do agree with you that I think
The Saints can run the ball a little bit. Like they're averaging 4.5 yards per carry, and they saw like a Cardinals defense that I think is going to be pretty good, and the 49ers defense. So they're middle of the pack in pretty much everything offensively, and I could see them putting up some points here.
For sure. Quick backtrack, did a little snooping while you were talking there. Under 46 in this game, Denver Chargers. That's what I'm seeing is like best in market here at Caesars. I'm in. So just want to make that clear. I'm betting that on my phone as we speak quickly about Dallas, Chicago. I'm a little bit perplexed by this line. I actually make this the other side. Let me just confirm here. I actually make it Dallas plus 0.25. So I do see some value on Dallas plus the 1.5 at Novig. But again, with liquidity, that price might not be as real as it seems, as odd as that might sound. Give me your thoughts on Dallas, Chicago, Jake, because Caleb Williams, they got blown out, but Caleb Williams himself looked better. How good is better is a whole other debate. Dallas, of course, already one of the games of the year. That game was so much freaking fun.
That was actually a fun game with two random ass teams, honestly, that I'd never want to watch.
But talk to me.
You watch them too much because they're in your division, but
yeah, no, but like that was because like I was just laying them. I normally have multiple screens going, but I had one screen open at the time. Like that was when the Chiefs Eagles game was starting. Like I didn't care about watching that game. I wanted to see what the hell was going to happen in Jerry World. Awesome game, Brandon Aubrey, epic. But back to the task at hand here, Jake. Do you have a strong feeling here? Because I think Dallas seems too obvious to a degree, as dumb as that sounds.
Dude, I think the same thing, Eric. But like, why would I look at the Bears? Like anything, that Dallas game, they have momentum. Like back against the walls multiple times. I mean, it was the Giants, so like nothing crazy, but like having to put up 40 points in against any team is impressive in the NFL. And I mean, the Bears, is that Vikings loss now kind of looks a little worse, seeing how badly that they played this week. And then the Lions absolutely smoked them. So it's like, what do the Bears have right now that is pushing me that way when I can go and I can get Dallas pretty much on the money line at what even is Dallas on the money line right now?
So we're seeing 106 at Kalshi, but we'll do some shopping. 108 at FanDuel. So that's like the best you're going to get from like a PK perspective, essentially. So no, I totally agree with you there. I
agree that it seems like it's one of those games where you're like, why is you question? There's those games where you just question. You're like, usually if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. But ever since the Bears blew that game last year, what was that on Thanksgiving, where like the DB was dancing in the end zone and then they lost. I was like, I'm not betting this team like probably for the next 2 years. So I think I'm going to hold myself to that, and I'll probably save a lot of money.
I don't blame you there. No, I think Dallas money is inevitable, and I think by the time this time tomorrow when I'm on stream, we'll see a different price in this game. I really do. But for now, for me, no plays going on. We got 3 more quick. Cardinals, Niners, Mac Jones. The Cardinals, of course, somehow found a way to almost blow another one, as it seems like they always do. This game I actually have not looked at all, so I'll keep it brief here on my end because I have the Niners in a lay last week, minus the 3. I thought they were a good pick for like survivors as well, as everybody was like, oh, no Purdy, all the weapons, etc. They of course handled business, though it was a closer one than people would think there. But Jake, do you have any thoughts on AZSF? Because as somebody who has AZ equity in their future, I have Gannon COY, I have some AZ playoffs. Like, can't be more happier than a 2-0 start, and especially now that you play Mac Jones in week 3, that's always fun. But I still think organizationally, at least, the Niners are still better than the Cardinals.
Yeah. I mean, the Cardinals also played mediocre versus probably the 2 worst teams in the league. So that's not really working in their favor. I was also high on the Cardinals, though. Realistically, they're blowing these games there like at the end. They're dominating the games, and then they're giving some sliver of hope there in the especially against the Panthers. Like at the end there, that end of that game was pretty crazy. Honestly, a crazy week too in general. Like there were just a lot of pretty good games in my opinion.
Yeah.
And 49ers, I mean, I don't mind Mac Jones. They also played the Saints and only beat them by 5, so it's not like they were any world beaters against them. That's the same competition. That's the only apples to apples comparison we have right now. But I mean, I'm not touching it. I'll start with that. Even with Brock Purdy in, which they're saying he might, he's questionable to return still. So that's something to just keep an eye on. This is why I'm definitely not touching anything right now. Like I would love to hear that news, but I'm pretty sure I saw notification.
5 hours ago.
Yeah, he was just upgraded to questionable. So obviously that's a big game changer. But also, I mean, would be good if you think he's going to play. Good to get in on the -2.5 because that'll probably change if he does play. But no opinion, no real opinions here.
Yeah, I'm with you. No real opinions. And the fact that I was able to just pull up that injury report in 12 seconds is a massive shout out to Outlier for their platform. Injury reports, player prop research, positive expected value, game line information, real-time odds, free trial. Scan the QR on the top right or click the link under the stream right now. I have it posted so you guys can click a link and get a free trial going if you like Outlier. Please feel free to use them. It's an awesome tool. It's literally where we're finding all of our good lines and our analysis as well. Information for multiple things, straight up game information, player, advanced statistics, injuries, all in one platform. So shout out to the amazing people over at Outlier. Yeah, I'll move on from this one because I have future equity in Arizona. I'd love an Arizona win. I don't think like there are some games here that I know we're going to be talking about on stream tomorrow and Friday that I'm going to be probably placing some wagers on. I don't see a situation where this is one of them. Prop market, of course, all things are open, but on a game line there, I don't see that happening, at least for me. But Giants, Chiefs, the square, and everybody says there's no way in hell the Kansas City Chiefs go 0-3. My square thoughts say the exact same thing. I can already imagine, Jake. It's 10:55 on Sunday night. The Giants are driving. They're down 4. They're at the 5-yard line. Russell Wilson throws a touchdown to Malik Neighbors. Flag, call back, pass interference on a phantom call. I see it. I'm watching it happen. The Giants cover. The Chiefs win.
That's crazy. I see the same exact. I'm seeing the same shit.
More serious note here, Russell Wilson and co. When Russell Wilson has some time, looking good. There's a chance the Chiefs defense isn't good, which is just something to note. I'm not going out there and saying that's true just yet. But Jake, any stronger opinions than me? Because I'm not laying a 5.5 with the Chiefs here. But I'm hard pressed to see the Chiefs losing a football game to Russell Wilson in the Big 25.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about them going 0-3, especially versus the Giants, but there is a player that I'm looking at for either the touchdown category, the rushing yards category, and I said it in camp. Cam Scatterbo is going to be the starting running back for this franchise, honestly. Not saying he's the next Saquon by any means, but this dude is a freaking dog, Eric. Like, do you just even his 2-yard carries like astonish me sometimes. The guy doesn't go down.
So worth noting, 5 red zone attempts last week. I want to go to the overall rush share.
Like he's a higher favorite to score a touchdown than Tracy.
I mean, when you look at the numbers, especially how it's skewed more from game 2 to game 1, because I was watching that Washington game. I know Scottaboo only had a couple of carries, only 2 carries behind Tracy, and most of those did come in last week's matchup.
Yeah, so they're slowly giving him his. And I drafted Tracy in 2 of my fantasy leagues, like later rounds. I'm like, oh, he's their RB1. Like, is Scottaboo gonna actually be that guy? If not, like, he's their guy. Tracy's gonna eat up, and like that just has not been the case. And I think they're shifting more towards Cam being their guy. I think his touchdown is like plus 190 right now. His anytime touchdown.
I'm going to zoom in for chat to be able to see here. I'll read it out, though. But like right here on Outlier telling you exactly what I just said, but with the actual numbers here, rookie Scottaboo went from 12% in the opener to 52% in that week 2 game against Dallas. So that's like the proof is in the pudding right there. The numbers, of course, showcasing you there. But Scottaboo plus 280 at 365, which is so off market.
Wow.
So if you have a 365 account, I bet that without even blinking, to be honest. Like, how much?
Yeah, if you got a Bet 365 account, let me know. I'll Venmo you.
That's something I would definitely. That's definitely some value. 205 over here for Mr. Tracy here, but I want to see where are the rush yards. Yeah, because I just want to see exactly.
Are they showing his rusher, like the rush yard line?
Only Profit X 35.5 is the only thing that's
35.5. Oh my! If I could get 35.5, I'll place that immediately.
If you need a promo code for Profit X, promo code BetSmart, it's only $50 of liquidity. So like, yes, that's the under actually. So let me look at the over here. There might not even be there. Yeah, there isn't an over market yet. So you could go on Profit X and set the over market. One of the things about the exchanges, the prediction markets, like you can come onto Profit X right now and make a bet for Scottaboo over at the odds that you think it should be and set the liquidity. So like you could start it all. You could get it going. You could be the 1-2. Yeah, you could be the 1-2. Put the liquidity in on Profit X, and rush yards here.
That'd be something right there.
Where I see Scottaboo over. You could request that line here. You could set your stake. So you say, I got 44 bones in here, and I can set the odds of what you want it to be. Place that and see if you get matched there. So Profit X utilizing that in real time there. If you guys do not have Profit X, promo code BetSmart to get started. Up to $200 in Profit Cash there as well if you use promo code BetSmart. So shameless plug for an amazing platform. Profit, Novig, Kalshi. I'm a huge fan of all the prediction markets for what they can do for sports bettors. Every platform has its limitations, etc. Things to note, but make a market if you guys feel some type of way about something. I'm gonna stop rambling though and say I don't think the Chiefs win. Literally, I was obviously joking about my vision, but at the same time, I'm not kidding at all. That's exactly what's going to happen. Giants covered, Chiefs win, some nonsense.
Eric, you're the type to be like, I'll lay the minus 450 on the money line with the Chiefs just because I know it's going to hit.
I mean, listen, bro, I'll be checking live market, seeing what's going on because maybe I'm getting in there. Let's final game here. I don't know if you guys are waiting suspense, though. I guess you were, but long story short, I bet the Baltimore Ravens minus 4.5. That's the second bet. First bet I locked in this week, but I locked in that Chargers Broncos under. But I locked in this bet yesterday. The confirmed time and price 6:21 p.m. minus 108 on Profit X. Looks like that is available as well. I'll pull it up. Jake, I know what the Lions did to Ben Johnson and co. In Detroit. With that being said, yes, there's a lot of liquidity at minus 109. I had minus 108, and there still is. Oh, look, that's actually gone. So I snatched up a good amount of liquidity there. Fortunately, a ton of liquidity at minus 109. That 1 cent, I absolutely think is still a good price. So shout to Profit X. I think the Ravens are a different class than the Detroit Lions. I think that the Lions defense, as we saw, like the Bears still did some good things against them, and even though they got spanked. And I think that the fact that they were, at home at their field playing against an offense that they know, as Ben Johnson was their coordinator for the last couple of years, highly motivated to shut people up after losing. But narrative street aside, I make this game Baltimore minus 5.75. So I see clear value at 4.5. I also think that these are two teams that we know what to expect. Like I have times where I've talked about on stream where my numbers show some pretty good value elsewhere or on a team, and I kind of just lay off of it because I really don't think I know enough about these two teams. I'm not as confident as I'm better than the market, which I'm not even here. But I think that we know what these two teams are. I think the Lions defense is abysmal. They play a lot of man coverage. It's going to be really tough to like stop Lamar in the pocket. Zay Flowers is a legitimate weapon, and good luck tackling Derrick Henry. I know the Browns did well in that last week, but at the same time, it's a whole different ball game. We're not playing AFC North opponents and at home in prime time. Baltimore to me is just a much better football team at this point, and we know what they did. I think it was 2 years ago where these two teams squared off. Not that it matters entirely, but I think it's worth mentioning. And the Ravens just absolutely steamrolled them. I think we could be in a potential spot for the Ravens to steamroll the Lions. I know this defensive numbers aren't looking great, but I think Goff is not. I'm still down on Goff. I don't think beating the Bears, who also have their injuries in their secondary, is impressive. Even though a 50 burger is always impressive, don't get me wrong. But long-winded way of saying, Jake, my numbers tell me Ravens. I feel confident in my numbers of both these teams. I think this gets to 6 by Saturday night when the markets limits raise and the markets are more efficient. I got in 4.5. I'm not looking back. Give me the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, I won't argue the Ravens there. I think I don't like a 4.5. Well, the 5 that I'm looking at now, 4.5. I think it could be a lot. I don't mind the Ravens though. What I'll argue with is the Lions defense. I think that they are much better than what they have put out this year. Same thing with the Ravens. I mean, let's go back to the Buffalo Bills game. I mean, the Ravens really played well up until the last 3.5 minutes. You know, like they gave up majority of those points in like a 3-minute span. Also, to back your bet, Jared Goff home and away is night and day. We literally have already seen that this year. Away gets clapped. At home, balls out, 50 burger. Where are they here? They're going to be in Baltimore. I also, so with all that being said, I actually like the unders here. I think 52.5 is way too high. I think 26.5, 27 in the first half is way too high. Ravens are going to try to run the ball. That's a no-brainer, whether it's with Lamar, whether it's with Derrick Henry. I like that clock ticking. But I do think that both the Lions and the Ravens defense, so I'm pretty high on both of them for this year. I mean, I think they got dealt some bad cards to start the season. But I think that I don't see this going over 53 points. You know, like I think it's a primetime game. Everyone's going to expect fireworks from these two offenses. I think the defenses show up. And I think Jared Goff away, like, probably is not going to do what he did last week. So that's just a known stat going back 2 years for the last 2 years. So, yeah, I like the unders here. Unders all around the board. I already know I'm going to probably put in a same game parlay for this game, and there's going to be tons of unders on there. Under on props, under on everything, maybe over on like Derrick Henry rushing attempts. But I already, the vision you were talking about with the Giants. I just have a vision of my same game parlay hitting on Monday with all the unders. Everyone's going to be like, oh, 2+ touchdowns for Jahmyr Gibbs and over and team total overs. Not this guy. I'll be on all the unders. First half under, full game under on receiving yards, under on receptions. I want all of it in my same game parlay.
I love that. That's the way to do it, boys. Mixing your unders. Don't neglect the unders, ladies and gentlemen. We saw that a lot also last week. A lot of big name guys going under their numbers. Obviously, week 1 with the receiver, there was like a bloodbath. So never neglect your unders. But it's going to wrap it up. We went through every single game, gave our leans, our early opinions, benefit of, at least from like my stream's sake, and of course, anybody's betting sake is while it's easier to bet earlier in the week in terms of like market efficiency, if you don't have an opinion right this second, you don't need to have one. You don't need to bet something on every game. You absolutely probably shouldn't be betting something on every game. So I have Ravens minus 4.5 available at ProfitX, still at minus 109. I love that. I think that'll close closer to 6. Like if it doesn't, all in the game. But I locked that in already. And Broncos, Chargers under 46 locked in. And I will be monitoring the market to see what is good for the Buccaneers Jets, because I like that under as well. Streaming tomorrow, 7 p.m. before Thursday Night Football. I'll be building out all the promo boosts and profit boosts and parlay boosts that FanDuel and DraftKings give out. So we can maximize those, as well as keep looking for some EV straight bets for specifically, we're going to be looking at the Thursday game, but we'll divert to looking at some of the Sunday slate. If there's EV, even if there's a baseball EV pops up on the EV screen, I'm not going to ignore EV where it's there. So make sure you guys are following. I really appreciate it. Follow at GoBetSmart as well as at Slime Action, so you never miss a stream. Also, make sure you follow my boy at Money Badger Bets, Jake. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Eric. It's always fun. I think I'm going to try to hop on here on Sunday morning if we want to talk some more ball, get some last minute bets in when these injury reports come out. So happy to hop on there too.
Absolutely. I'll stream it always on Sundays at 10:30 ET. Mondays 7, Thursday 7, Thursday 7:30. Fridays, I gotta commit to a time. That's on me, but I'll definitely be streaming Friday. Shout out to everybody in chat. I appreciate you guys all for tuning in. Make sure you follow all of us. And I was gonna say best of luck with your bets tonight, but most of the baseball shit happening. So let's cash, boys. I'll see you guys next time.